Hi. Welcome to the video for Patreon. Well, I think I will publish it to YouTube. Hello. Welcome to my channel, I guess. It's been a while and I really wanted to make a quick video. Quick as in like I talk too slow and the video is half an hour or more, about the Patreon this year. I've already written about it on Patreon earlier in January, but I really wanted to make a video since January and February graphics are done. And I wanted to make an update of where we're at for production and deliverables because you guys have been so patient with me, and I'm just so sorry about the state of how I am. I am gonna make another video later about just like a personal vlog and just update where I am personally, but for this video I really wanted to just like introduce what Patreon looks like this year. And I'm just really excited about how it looks right now. Spoiler. Spoiler. I will show it at the end of the video, but towards the end of the video, but these are like prototypes. And I'm like looking at it, I'm like, okay, it's good. Like I am satisfied. I'm not always like crazy about my own art, but like I'm looking at the prototype that I just like tested out on my printer, and I'm just like, yeah, this is gonna be, I think I'm proud of this, or like I think I like where this is going. Okay, yeah, so let me show you the materials, or like let me show you the illustrations and walk you through a bit how Patreon looks like. And apologize in advance for the lighting because I live on the East Coast and we actually have weather here. Oh, look at this cute buddy. One of my coworkers made this for me because I made her lunch. And I realized that this is what is that? I think it's like a kind of like a loose interpretation of a jelly cat. So now like I have a jelly cat. She's so cute. Here you go. I'll see you in the next scene. So this is the sketchbook I am working in for Patreon this year, and it's called Bee Paper. I actually use this sketchbook, or like this company sketchbook, I think maybe like 10 years ago. I found it like randomly, I think in Montreal. Oh, so it must be a bit, yeah, maybe like 10 years ago in like this random art shop. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I was like touching the paper and it was like nice. It's pretty, let's see, it is 93 pounds. So it is like one of those thicker, well, thick-ish printer paper feel. It's slightly creamy and a little bit toothy. I just bought it at the time because when I was younger, I would buy a lot of art supplies, and I mean 10 years ago, but like at the time I was still like really into exploring art supplies. I mean, I still am interested, but I have less time to invest energy and play with art supplies, so I'm much more restrictive now. And then I really liked it, but then I finished it, I believe, and I never saw it again, which was really weird. It just like kind of like disappeared for already. It was like harder to find, but it just poofed. Like I never saw it again. And then suddenly, I think it was here, when I moved here, I went to look for a local art supply store, and then I saw it and I was like, oh my god, I have to get it. Either that story, I don't remember, honestly. It could be any story I tell you, or I could like make it up in my mind. So anyways, I was really happy to see it, so I bought it, and I didn't have any plans for it. So when we finished Patreon last year, I was like already in the process of starting to plan for 2026. I was like, well, do I want to continue doing watercolors? What am I going to do in terms of like what the project looks this year? And I kind of, was like thinking about how much energy I can put into illustrations and stuff like that. And though I did know I want to continue watercoloring, but I think I wanted to focus a bit more on drawing and composition and doing something that I really enjoy, which is actually illustrating and making full pieces. Well, not full pieces, but more like an illustration with some story to it. And I just like remembered I had the sketchbook, and it was kind of perfect because B paper takes watercolor and ink in like a very good sketch quality kind of feel, and it's not great for like heavy watercoloring, which is fine because I didn't want to focus so much on watercolor. I wanted to do more drawing with ink and having watercolor complement that. And so that was perfect. I was like, okay, well, it also helps me use my art supply, which is great. Not that I don't like using watercolor paper. I'm like kind of like looking at the pile of watercolor paper I have, and I'm like, oh, I should use it for something. And I do have some plans for it, but it's like I really have to temper how much I take on right now, like really, really, really. Anyhow, so this is the sketchbook, B paper. I just stuck some B quality stickers here. They all have like dings and stuff like that, or misprints. Yeah, so this is, I just saw it and I bought it. I don't think I remember like what it's made of completely. So it's been a week and my English is like degrading. Intro page, I did some testing. So the pencils are looking great. The pigments sit on top really well, and the texture of the paper really like brings out the vibrancy and like the texture of the pigments, and I love that. I was testing some watercolors here and then like blending to see how that feels. This is an inking piece that I did for last year. I printed this out for like work New Year's, and I'm like, oh, I should do it for this year, but I did start like doing the horse, but anyways, that's a whole other thing. So this is just ink and I think a little bit of gray watercolor to like tone in the grayscaleness. And I really like working this way with like just minimal like colors and focusing a lot more on like details and textures. These are some sketches. These were for Patreon. The year of the monkey and then year of the goat. You can see the thumbnails here. Okay, so I'm looking at the thumbnails and I'm like, oh, how different is it from the finished product? This was just for fun. These are more thumbnails. I think some of these were these were like thumbnails for like the final piece. That's interesting. I'm like, oh, why did I choose these versus other ones? Sometimes I remember, sometimes I don't. Oh, let me go through here. Oh, actually, I'll do this one first. So this page is a tester. Like I did a tester for Patreon art pieces because I was measuring out the size of the illustrations, and then I also I knew I wanted to focus minimally on the colors, and it's gonna be more like a blue pink because if you know me, that's like my color scheme. I love blue and pink. So I was like, why not have a whole year of blue and pink illustrations? So it's all the blue pencils I have, and blue and pink pencils I have, and then all the blue paints / purple / pink. And I was just sketching and feeling how that looks. I've debated whether I wanted to do like a dip nib or if I wanted to do just like a fountain pen. In the end, I wanted to do fountain pen because it allows me a little bit more control in terms of hatching, and again, adding more details to the feel of the textures and such. So this was done after I did the research for the cards, actually. And for the cards, it's like really messy. I feel like there's a better method to organizing my information, and this project is new to me, so I'm like kind of like grappling at how I'm organizing everything and grappling at time management, and also I'll walk through the project time management stuff like after I show the pieces, because I'll have to talk about it a little bit. But basically, I obviously had to do pre-research for the Lenormand deck. I've been using that deck for maybe like 2-3 years now, but it's still like I don't use it regularly enough to be very familiar with it. But and at the same time, I wanted to do the research and present it in a way that is easy for patrons and people who look at my art. And also, like, down the line, I do want to print it and have it like usable, you know. And there's so many of these decks out there. Like, people personalize their tarot decks, their oracle decks, and Lenormand decks, but it's like, how do I make it mine? Or like in an interesting style that is more unique to me. It doesn't have to be like super original or anything, but like I wanted to bring elements that really tickled my fancy. So I was looking, I think there was an Instagram post that like kind of not rekindled, but like reminded me that I have an interest in Chinese medicine or like Chinese retro packaging design. And so initially I did do some research on the packaging designs. I wrote this on Patreon in I think one of the initial posts for 2026, but I'll talk over it in the video too. So I think it's so fascinating. Chinese packaging, Chinese like medicinal packaging is still very vintage, and like I don't even know how to like describe it. I hate to use the word like mystic because it makes it like kind of like it attributes it like almost like a foreign quality to it, but it's like I don't want to say that because I feel like it's slightly xenophobic because it's still part of my culture. But there's just some almost like magic to it, maybe. Like the designs have so much visual interest, and like the way they fit the characters in the shapes, and the way I feel like some of the designs don't make sense to me. Like this one was a white flower oil, and some parts of the design are open and then colored in, but then it's not the line art is not complete. So it's just like, but it's complete in other places, so it confuses me. But at the same time, it still works, and that's what makes it so interesting to me. Yeah, basically like developing my visual language, or like learning the visual language of Chinese medicine packaging. It's just so interesting. And it's not only just the medicine, but like some of the really old companies of food. For example, if you buy like crab paste or shrimp paste from like in a can, the Vietnamese crab paste or shrimp paste, I'm like, this is crazy. Like the design is not clear. The rendering of the vegetables and the proteins are like realistic, and it's not like easy to read from afar, but yet it's so nostalgic and it works. So it's like trying to decode the language that they used to use. Anyhow, so this was one of the study pages. There's some other ones elsewhere. This is my scrappy page. And then I also set some like thumbnails of composition that like, oh sorry, you can see like composition notes of the cards that I'm working on. These are like really rough like lines to indicate like how I want the composition to feel. It didn't really end up the way that I planned, but that's also okay. Actually, no, kind of, but yeah, it's very rough. And I think in a few months down the line, I wouldn't even understand what this means, but it's there for me to kind of like work on while I'm actively working on the pieces, just so that I can make sure my compositions vary a bit and that I'm not like repeating diagonals or like certain angles or the way the cards are facing. There's no like deep meaning to it, but it's just for me to be a bit more mindful of like how the overall deck will look in the end. So that's that. This was the research for like the meanings of the cards and also Lenormand deck. So it was developed, and I wrote it down. I can't like say it off the top of my head, but they were like based off of playing cards, and they were used by this, I guess, like medium fortune teller, and she became really good at this system, but it was really based off of the standard 52 cards decked, and then images were added on to her, like to the Lenormand deck. And so that's why like the standard Lenormand deck, if you look it up, there's like Joker, there's like the suite of cards, basically heart, spade, clover, and diamond. And I wanted to transfer that into 4 symbols that exists in that. The 4 symbols is a system in Chinese energetic system. So it's for the 4 symbol is the precursor to 5 elements, and it's basically water, air, fire, and earth. No, earth, fire, water. No, it's not earth. No, earth was added after. It was fire. Sorry, wood, water. Wood, water, fire, and metal. So I wanted to like kind of choose those elements and integrate it instead of using the suites. And then I listed all my animal characters and then attributed them to corresponding cards that I thought would be appropriate. And I also broke down the cards in terms of like which months corresponds to which months I'm gonna release the cards in. I put so much thought into these things, and like I feel like when I try to verbalize it, it's not coming out properly. And yeah, sorry if I'm using too many words. I'm just not able to make it concise today. But anyways, so there was a process to how I planned out Patreon this year. So first it was like, there was research for Lenormand, there was research for the overall style design of the cards, and there was also research for the meanings and then the association of the animals. This is like a loose guideline for myself, because the more I put into the research and the more I prepare the project, the easier it's gonna go down the line. Like I can't believe how I underestimated how busy I'd be in January and February, and like how much time it would have taken me to actually set up the format and everything of the card designs. And I'm just like, wow, I hope, and I have high hopes that things will go smoother from March and on, because the rest of the stuff is prepared. But I was just like, wow, I really vastly underestimated how much time I would need to do all this and rest and also do my full-time job and work on other projects. So yeah, more on that later. But this is a glimpse of like what's going on in terms of like the Patreon this year, the Patreon project this year. So this is my like rough copy, and I just kind of like needed to have a second copy just set here in the sketchbook. So this was the prototype of the cards, and I decided on the playing card format because I kind of just find it really charming and will be easy to revisit later when I do more works with the graphics. So we start with January. This is the stars. I chose the White Crow, and the cards, the end product is manipulated. Like in terms of the illustration, is manipulated digitally because I wanted to have a certain look, and I am satisfied with how it looks like this, but there is a part of it that is done digitally that I can't do in analog. I'll try to like show you later. So this is the stars. I chose the White Crow. That is part of the animal characters. It's pretty straightforward. Like the Lenormand deck is supposed to be straightforward and easier to use for the user and to interpret the meanings. I'm sorry, I'm gonna move this. So yeah, in the sky, tons of star elements. I wanted to have a more center composition for this one for sure. This one is the tree. The tree design is loosely based, well, it was like loosely inspired by the Norse legend of the Tree of Life and the little squirrel that lives in the Tree of Life and then runs it up and down and sends messages. So that's the inspiration for this one. And this is the first time we'll feature the little star squirrel. I drew this character once in a Patreon, but I never revisited them, so I'm excited for this one. And the moon for January. So you can tell I really went in with like texturing with ink pen. Oh my gosh, the lighting. I don't know if you'll see from, yeah, the lighting is so fickle today. Should I pause? I'm not sure. Let me try to keep going. Yeah, I try to go in with the textures and then also play with elements of like dotting. This one's Tower. Yeah. I have to say, like, I wasn't expecting I think the previous B paper edition was a little bit different, just a tiny bit different, because I don't remember it buckling as bad, but I'm not a hater of buckling, but I was just taken aback. So this is tower, and then letter, we have Stellar J, and the letter is like the leaves, which is like an element that I've had before in Patreon, where like animals will write letters and send them through leaves and stuff like that. I really like how this one came out in terms of like inking, because there's like different textures within the ink. I try not to be too finicky about how the watercolor dries. It's something I have to like let go, because how this paper reacts to watercolor and how I previously handled watercolor on watercolor paper. But still, like, it has its own charm, and like it's something I have to like wrangle a little bit, because it doesn't spread the way that I expect it to on this paper versus the other one. And then garden, this one turned out really cute. I find I like being able to do the details like in the illustrations, like here, and I also like the details in the leaves. And I like being able to take my time to like cross hatch everything. And I knew when I drew these big, when they shrink to like smaller format, it'll look even more like full. So I'm gonna show you. These are like test prints I did on my printer. I'm still like wrestling with my printer settings, so I don't think it's gonna, I hope it's this color is not accurate. So this is like the mock layout of how the cards are coming out, and so you can see that the frame, let me like focus on this one of them here. So the frame is like loosely has the quality, is loosely based off of like Chinese medicine frames, but like I made my own. There's like pointy star elements, and then there's like double line frames that like weave into each other. Oh my gosh, my English, I'm so sorry today. So yeah, there's 3 illustrations per sheet. Oh my God, this lighting is not cooperating. So there's 3 stickers in each sheet, well 4, but the 4th one is the cards and their numbers, and then a few keywords that I've chosen for each of them. And these are keywords that I usually work with them. I find that the more that I use the card deck, is like you start to like interpret things your own way versus like what the guides are, versus what the guides give you. And like that's totally okay, because the deck should be like you should have a personal relationship with the deck itself. So I'm kind of like really excited I know it's only like 2 months in, but I'm kind of really excited to see this project come to fruition and to like share it with everybody. And like really, I do really hope to print this as a deck down the line. Where was I? Yeah, so I'm not sure if you can see, but the frames, there's 2 spots for symbols here. The first one is the element that's associated with the card. So this one's water, and the bottom one is the bottom one is the number of the card. There's 36 card in Lenormand deck. And so like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's like a standard thing. But the numbers are written in Chinese. So that's why I also have them written in Roman numerals. Well, Roman numerals? Not Roman numerals, Arabic numerals on the side. And so those would be 1, 2, 3, and it'd be stars, tree, and moon. It's pretty self-explanatory, their names. So I'm not trying, I don't think like most of my illustrations will be like cryptic or anything. So hopefully it'll be like very intuitive for people to use. And of course, like down the line, I hope that when people use it, they just have their own interpretation of the meanings. Yep. I already see like a prototype mistake and it's driving me nuts. And just like, so part of why it's taking me a long time is the research and then doing the graphic editing of this deck was a lot. Like doing the research and then finding elements of graphic elements that I want to incorporate, and then translating that, actually like drawing it and then like putting it into digital was a lot more than I expected. And then like every single element needs like some research in as well. So these characters, the Chinese numerals are standard numerals, Chinese numerals, but I decided to research ancient Chinese script for the elements. Oh, so I didn't explain. So these are the elements and the numbers, but then for the explanations, the first numeral is the month, the number of the month. So it's 1, 2, and then this is month in ancient script. I feel like this matters to me, but I don't know if it matters to other people. But I hope that my explanation makes sense to you, because it's not, I know I'm not completely coherent today. Yeah, so there was like a lot of smaller design elements, and then deciding on the size, and then doing the cut lines, and then so right now these two are in the printing process. But the thing is, like, I'm trying a new company and they haven't gotten back to me yet. I'm just like, hello? Anyone there? Does anyone want to take my order? Last year I used Sticker app and they respond extremely fast. And then this one was just like, got your order. Here's your order confirmation. Here's your order number. That was it. I was like, oh, it's been a couple of days. Hi, anyone home? I wanna just check on a proof or something. So that's where it's at. And I'm very, I do apologize for running late on the deliverables. But I also I'm trying to avoid saying sorry too much. So like, but I do want to apologize, but I also want to say thank you so much for being so patient with me. I recognize that sometimes it is very difficult to expect things from me. And I'm starting to realize that's part of my neurodivergence. Not that it's an excuse, but it explains why I'm like this. But at the same time, I'm so grateful for everyone's support for this project. And I'm so ecstatic about how it's coming out. Like, imagine, like, I'm just like seeing these January and February, and I'm like, and it's gonna have like, I'm gonna have like 10 other sheets like this, and then down the line there's gonna be 36 cards. That's so wild to think about. And I'm like looking at it right now, I'm like, oh, I can draw. I did this. So I'm like excited to keep going. And I'm really thankful for everyone's support on Patreon so far and being so patient with my radio silence. There's that plus kind of like burnout at my job and in life general and how shit the world is right now. There's so much that is weighing on my mind, and I know it affects you too. So I'm so grateful for your grace and patience and support for Patreon 2026, and I'm just like really excited to, like, I can see the end of the tunnel for January and February, and I'm like, this was really rough. And I'm like, if it was rough for me, it's also rough for you because you're like waiting on me. But I'm like really grateful for all that, and I hope that you're excited to see how it's turning out and like excited for the months to come. And there will be more art in the months to come because I also still have to work on the flight tier, and I am looking forward to work on that as well. And I'm looking forward to share some more projects that are coming. I don't know, did I have more projects coming down the line? Pokemon card this year. I'm really excited for that. Yeah, that's it. I think this is it. Did I skip something? I think that's mostly what I wanted to talk about. I think that's mostly what I wanted to talk about. Right now my focus is on Patreon and also working on Chicago Fest. Today is March 7th, as of the recording. Yeah, so thank you for all your support. I will see you guys soon. Bye!